is a face for radio.
That's a face for,
This is a face for radio.
Voice. I put the voice on top of it. Or up under it. I'm going to do my book, audio book also.
You gonna narrate it?
I am. I'm a narrator. You know, I used to read books on the cassette tape. Remember that?
No, I don't.
In prison, yes.
Oh, you read them. You didn't tape them for other people to read.
Them on,
yeah, I love to listen to books that way.
I did.
I retain things better.
I take the. Do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
If I hear it, I retain it better than if I read it. You should listen to the podcast that I did with Rafe Foreman. You remember Rafe?
Yeah, I know Rafe.
He was interviewing me for a podcast, and I flipped the script on him. And he ended up being the interviewee.
Oh, yeah.
That's always fun, though.
So about 10 minutes in, he's answering all the questions, and he goes,
Yeah.
Brian, are you doing my job for me? And I said, uh-oh, he's on to me.
He got me. I did an interview with Ray, too.
I heard it.
Yeah.
I listened to it.
Right.
On Trial Lawyers College.
Whatever.
He's good.
He is, whatever his question was. But I'm gonna start my own podcast called Miracle Man Podcast.
Miracle Man.
Miracle Man Podcast. Yeah.
You're going to be right up there with Jason and Travis Kelsey.
Who is Jason?
His brother for the Eagles.
Oh.
You know the center, for the Eagles?
Oh, yeah, Jason.
Yeah, he's all that.
He's not the center, is he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kelsey versus Kelsey on Monday, right?
Yes, on Monday Night Football, MNF, yeah. They interview each other.
Do they?
It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Travis has got a heck of a presence on TV.
Yeah.
He hosted Saturday Night Live.
Did he?
Yes, after the Super Bowl, he hosted Saturday Night Live.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That guy's coming up, man.
Got Taylor Swift, the billionaire musician.
Boy, that was a big catch. Catch of a lifetime. Yeah.
Why am I nervous?
I don't know, man. Why are you nervous?
I don't know. I get that way.
Yeah.
Whether I'm public speaking or trying a case.
Well, I can't tell.
I think it's because I want to do what Valerie wants me to do because I know she'll pop me over the head if I don't.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to do a good job.
I'm Brian McCalister from McCalister Law Firm. Darryl's a dear friend of mine, has been for many, many years.
Yes, and I'm Darryl Burton, and I'm here at the McCalister Law Firm. And Brian is a good friend of mine, and he's also someone that's been in my corner since I've been home. In fact, the first week I got out, I was at Brian's law firm, and we've been friends ever since.
That's right. I forgot that. First week you were out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is. First week I was out. I was here. I don't know who brought me here because I didn't know my way around, but yeah.
2008.
2008, first week I got out.
August
29th, yeah, 2008. That's
and
right.
today is November the 13th of 2023.
Exactly. That's right.
So that makes you an exoneree for how many years?
15 years plus.
That's just crazy.
15 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's how long I've been out.
Brian, when did you first meet Darryl?
Well, I guess I met him that first week he got out because he came to my office. I wish I could remember what we talked about, and I do remember meeting you. I do remember you being fresh out.
Yeah, we was right back in that room right there. Right back in that room.
Yep.
I mean, like I said, I don't know who brought me here. I don't know how I got here.
I think Mary Kay brought you here.
I don't know. I can't remember who brought me here. But I know
You came here because you needed somebody to represent you in your civil case.
Mm-hmm.
And you had met with either one or two or three St. Louis lawyers, and I don't know who they were, but you didn't like them.
Yeah, and like I say, and I don't remember who they were either. The St. Louis lawyers seemed like to me this happened in St. Louis. Not that I didn't like them, I just didn't trust them because all those lawyers seemed to be kind of hooked up with the same group of people. That's what I felt, that's what I thought, and I wanted it to be some lawyers from Kansas City because we was going to have to go over to St. Louis and sue some people.
Yeah, but you had met Mary Kay somewhere, Mary Kay Poirier.
Yeah, because I was on the news, and Mary Kay, I think, was at one of those events. You know, I was on the news, and then, she invited me to come out here and said, man, I need you to come and meet Cindy and Brian, the McCalister law firm. And
That was a long time ago.
it is.
I had more hair then,
It was darker too.
and it was better.
I had no hair then.
Or now.
And I still don't. Yeah, that was, man, it seemed like just yesterday. I mean, of course, 15 years ago, that's a long time, but out here it's different than when you're doing time in there. 15 years in there is like 3 lifetimes.
4 or 5
Yeah.
lifetimes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. You know, I've always said this about the people that I've represented in civil rights cases, and I've represented a lot of them, Dale Helmig and
Yeah.
and Ted White, yourself. You know, you were in for, collectively, I think I've represented people that have been in for over 100 years. And I've always said, I can sympathize with you, but I cannot empathize because I haven't been there. I don't know what it's like to be locked up for something that I didn't do for 24 years, 10 years, 5 years. One day,
Yeah.
if you didn't do it, and you're in there for some, who knows what reason, whether you're framed up like you were by police, framed up like Ted White was by police, doesn't really matter. If you're in there for the wrong reason and for a crime you didn't commit, it's hell.
It is. It is. It's hell on earth. And not only that, you know, the psychological, mental anguish, you know, and emotional that goes with that, because it didn't just affect me. It affected my family, and particularly my daughter, who right now I'm estranged from my little girl. You know, well, she's a young woman today, but we haven't had any conversation in probably almost 2 years. Because what happened to me, being sent to prison, abandoning her, and she knows it's not my fault, but she's upset about it.
She's having a hard time with it.
Yeah.
Well, and that just kind of,
And my
tells
family,
a-
my mother, and you know, they lost. It's like my brothers.
you were
I-
robbed.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with my brothers and sisters and family, and I come home 25 years later. Everybody's got families and grandkids or kids, and I didn't really know them. Cousins, other relatives. Some of those folks, you know, were not even born when I left. When I come home, I'm meeting nieces and nephews who, for the first time.
Well, even Tanisha, how old was she?
She was 7 months when I left.
7 months
7
old.
months. She was 7
Didn't
months.
know her daddy.
Didn't know me. And when I got out, she was 25. So no, she didn't know me. She didn't know me. And her mother had gotten with this other guy, and for the most part raised her, you know, with this other guy, because that's who her mother was with. And basically she told my daughter that was her dad, which that's who was in her life at the
You
time.
can't blame her for that.
I don't
You
know. I
know,
don't
you
blame
can't
her.
blame her for saying it was dad when it wasn't,
Yeah,
because she was doing the best she could without you.
I get it today, but I have to say that's not how I felt
At the time.
During that time.
No,
Yeah.
of course
That's-
not.
That's my child. You know?
Yeah.
And the mother came to my trial. I mean, you saw what they did to me. You saw those people
Sure
praying
did.
me.
Sure did.
So, I mean, don't take my child away from me. You know, if anything, I mean, I would hope that you would be motivated to bring her to be in my life, and while I'm going through something like that. But she didn't. She did, and told me I'd never bring her inside of a prison in a place like that to see you. That's what she said.
Well, and what people don't realize is that when you are in prison for a crime you did not commit, but for whatever reason law enforcement wants you in there, they want you in there, knowing that you're innocent. Their objective is to steal your identity from you forever and in every way. And that's what they did.
Yeah.
Wasn't just about locked up behind bars.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good enough for dirty cops.
Mm-hmm.
What they really want is to steal everything from you, your identity, your family, your children. Every trace of you has to be removed in the mind of a dirty cop.
Mm-hmm.
And even though 98%, 99% of cops are good and they have a hard job to do and they do a great job at it,
Mm-hmm.
that 1 or 2% that's dirty, they're extra dirty.
Yeah, and it affects people like me, innocent
Yeah.
people. And so you just said the numbers, 1%. If 1% or 2% of cops, are doing things that's unethical, that's illegal, that's criminal, nothing happens to them. They get this qualified immunity, or this, what you call absolute immunity. Nothing happens to them.
No, they're
If
protected.
So if they had some consequences because of their behavior, they wouldn't do it. Or if I was related to them, they wouldn't do it. But they do it to people like you just said, who they feel like is insignificant. If you're poor, whether you're black, white, or whatever, if you're poor, you can't afford,
Yep.
a good attorney to represent you. You're a no count. You don't matter to people like that.
And they've got to close these cases.
They got to, and it's not about justice. It's not about truth. It's not about right, wrong. It's about convictions. That's what they care about. That's right. They have to close the case. And anybody would do, in that situation.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. They don't care about, who you are and who you represent and your identity or what you are in the community. They don't care about any of that. I had just enrolled in college. I had a new baby. I was a dad. I want to raise my little girl. She's 7 months. She deserved to have a father in her life. She deserved that. She didn't ask to be here. I didn't get a chance to do that. And that's one thing that I regret more than anything, is I didn't get a chance to be there for my little girl. I didn't get a chance to see her take her first steps. When the tooth come, the tooth fairy. I didn't get a chance to do that, to go to the kindergarten, ride her first bicycle.
Change the diaper.
Change the diaper. I didn't get a chance to do that. And put her on my shoulders, and take her to the zoo and point out the animals to her. All those things I thought about. Give her first Barbie doll. I did that when I come home. And of course she looked at me, and there was some news media was there, and she looked at me and said, "Hey, Dad, you know this for keepsake, right? I don't play with dolls anymore." She said, I'm 25 years old.
Yeah, but it was a metaphor.
It was, and it was, it was something in my thoughts that I had wanted to do all those years. I wanted to be able to give my little girl a Barbie doll, a baby doll, and I never got a chance to do that. And when I did, of course, it was symbolic. That's what it was. It wasn't, something that didn't touch her, like it touched me. It was really, it was more emotional and personal to me, because I got a chance after all those years to do that. And then she appreciated it. She thanked me, but she was like, I'm finna put this in the closet.
I met Tynesha in Overland Park for an event.
Yeah.
It was a big event. Your mom, Pearl, was there. Cheryl was there. It was a big event at Holly McKissick's church, I believe.
Yeah.
What was that?
And the news media was there?
Yes.
It was Father's Day.
Father's Day.
That was Father's Day.
Of 2009?
Was it 2009? I can't remember. I think so. I think you're right. I think it was 2009.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 2009 or 2010, because it was Father's Day. I know it was in June. It was Father's Day. You're right, because she had never had a chance to be with her father on Father's Day. I had never gotten a chance to be with my little girl and to celebrate Father's Day with her. So the news media, the cameraman was crying, the reporter was crying. It was very typical, and she spoke. Tanisha spoke.
Yes, she did.
She spoke very well.
Yes, she did.
She had it wasn't a dry eye. It wasn't a dry eye in the building. Everybody was crying, and she had shared some things that I didn't know that she went through during that interview.
You guys were going down the same track at the same time.
She was in foster care, and she also had shared that her mother used to leave them, and she had 2 other siblings at this time, in basements, abandoned buildings, vacant homes, shelters, and just go off for days, 3 and 4 days, and just leave them by themselves. She was 12, and these kids were like 1 and 2. And something she said that was so painful to me, she found 17 cents in the house where they was living, whatever, it was, I don't know, a shelter or somewhere. It was maybe in a vacant house, I think she said it was. She went across the street to this confectionery, a little store, and asked the man to give her some food, and the little kids was in the window looking at her. And she said, "My little brother and sister, I need you to just try to get some food to feed them. That's all I got." And I think this is how her mother lost parental rights, and she ended up in foster care because of that. And the man said, "Where's your mom? Where's your dad?" She said, "I don't know. My dad, I don't really know my dad, but my mom haven't seen her in several days." And that was heartbreaking. I think that's when everybody was crying because of the story she was telling.
So your story is one of hundreds of stories, which is what Miracle of Innocence is all about. is helping those people with those stories, right?
That's right.
And what I don't believe people really truly realize, and you said it best at the gala last year, is that people who are innocent have less help available to them when they come out than people who are guilty and have lots of help available to. Well, I don't want to say lots of help. It's not lots of help. It's what
Some
little
help.
help is there
There's some help.
is designed to benefit people who are guilty and are coming out on parole or whatever. But when it comes to someone innocent, like you and like Lamont, and like so many others that you're helping, there's literally nothing available. So what do we do with those folks in our society who are trying to reintegrate? How do we make sure that they can reintegrate? And how do we get them the help that they need? And that's what
Miracle of Innocence.
Miracle of Innocence is all about.
And this is the inspiration behind the creation of Miracle of Innocence. Is when I come home, I ask for help from these reentry programs that help people when they come home with housing assistance, life skills, job training, phones, transport. They give them all these benefits, and they committed the crime. And I asked for help, and the lady said, "We can't help you. We only help the guilty. We don't help innocent people." And she's challenged me. She said, "You guys need to go start an organization for innocent people."
There you
when
go.
they come home.
There you go.
That's
Who
what
was
she
that?
said. I can't remember who it was.
Who'd she work for?
She's one of the nonprofits. She worked for one of the nonprofits. The
Was
Catholic
it Catholic Charities?
Might
Yeah.
have been Catholic Charities. Yeah, I think it was Catholic Charities. One of the nonprofits. One of them.
Mhm.
You know, but she said that. I said, but I still did almost 25 years. She said, "I'm sorry, Darryl, but we'll lose our funding if we give you." It's like a person walking off the street who's never been to prison. You were innocent, and that's where we just can't help you. Yeah, and that's what she said. And I said, man, that is just crazy. And I said this. I spoke to a panel of judges in Washington D.C. about a month ago, and shared this with them. It blew them away. They never heard of that. They said, "What?" I said, "Yes, the people who are guilty, when they come home, they got all kinds of benefits and support systems in place for the reentry folks who committed the crimes. But for innocent people, it's nothing." About 20 judges, federal judges up in D.C., they said, "Man, that just got to change. We never heard of that." So you all are judges. you are the ones who behind some of the,
So there's got to be legislation to change that.
Got to change. Yeah.
And
so,
as
but these
everybody-
judges, they didn't know. That's what I'm saying. So a lot of people don't know. In other words, Brian, people are not aware of it. When I go around, I tell this story. I share this with people all the time because a lot of folks just not aware of it.
So what do you do to explain to a person who has the ability to help financially and give money so that Miracle of Innocence can do what it does best, and that is to help reintegrate people and send them back into society? What do you do with the people who have the means to give money who don't care?
Well, I mean, we try to change hearts and minds. I mean, some people, they don't care until we get in front of them.
So you
And
just
they-
have to get in front of them
Got to get in front of them and have a conversation.
to
with
open
them.
their heart.
Right, because, I mean, people have other causes that they care about. I don't think people with money
Exactly.
don't care. I think if
I agree.
if they don't see you, out of sight, out of mind. We have to get in front of people. Me and Lamont and other folks, you got to share this with people, because if they don't know about it, I mean, they may hear about it, kind of peripherally, but other than that, if you're not talking to them like you and I, one-on-one, face-to-face, people are often doing whatever it is that they do. They got a lot of other things that they can do. with
They
their
sure
money.
do. They sure
And they
do.
do that. But, I mean, I was just with a group of lawyers just, in the last 24 hours. And a lot of these lawyers support Miracle of Innocence. Some of them had never heard of us. And several of them are very wealthy. And that's what they said. Said, "Man, I never heard about, your organization. And I wanna try to help. Give me your card or give me your number." And gave me their personal phone numbers. I gave them mine. Said, I wanna reach out. I wanna help. Because, and that's what I told them, how the guys who come out, who committed the crimes, get help. Guys who are innocent don't. They said, we can't believe that. That's what we need to tell people.
Well, when I met you in 2008, you were immediately an inspiration to me. You don't know that, do you?
No, I didn't know that.
You were immediately an inspiration to me.
And why was that?
So, I grew up in a small town, a minister's kid, a preacher's kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watched my parents time after time after time help other people. That was what they were all about. And I went into the law.
Methodist?
Christian Church, Disciples of Christ.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Christian Church.
I know. The Methodists, that's what they do. The Christians do. Christian disciples. of
We
Christ.
do, we do.
I was a disciple.
But it's
of
hard to
Christ.
explain our denomination.
It
You
is.
say, what church do you belong to?
Yeah.
Well, I belong to the Christian Church. Well, I belong to a Christian church. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
No, this is a denomination you don't understand. It's a denomination called the Christian Church. People don't understand. It's a denomination.
Yeah.
But, when I went to law school, I went to law school with a different intention. I wanted to go into college administration. But then I fell in love with the trial process while I was in law school. And I got out and I was doing my thing, and I thought I was really working hard for other people and doing what God wanted me to do. But then you came along and opened my eyes to the concept of forgiveness, like I had never seen it before. And I remember you saying at our dining room table, we invited you over for dinner, and there was someone in your life that was a great influence on you, your grandmother,
That's right.
who said one day you're going to need Jesus,
Jesus, yeah.
and you're going to call on Jesus. And you didn't believe in Jesus, you didn't believe in God.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
today here you sit wearing a cross and preaching at one of the largest Methodist churches in the world.
That's right. Yeah.
Now look at that dichotomy. Look at the difference between Darryl Burton when he was 20
Mm-hmm.
and Darryl Burton in 2023, preaching the gospel and spreading the word. And when you told me about forgiveness, I knew I had to be a part of your mission, whatever your mission was.
Because not only that, I was interested in starting a lawn care service.
That's right.
We did some work at your house. The first job we ever had
Yeah.
was to do some what's called, I think my brother Barry was really doing.
Barry was there.
Yeah, Barry.
He dug a
Barry
trench.
And Chris, yeah.
He dug a trench and a
Yeah.
French drain.
Right, and he's good, but he do landscaping. He was doing landscaping. We just wanted to cut grass, but Barry was in a whole nother orbit. He's got a green thumb or whatever you call it. He's as far as doing, some just reorganizing it outdoors. He do that at my mom's house too. So we had shared with you that we wanted to get a truck. We wanted to get a truck so we could start this lawn care service.
And you
And you
knew
say
I
the
like
thing.
you knew I like to buy and sell automobiles, so you asked me for my advice.
Yes, but I didn't think you was gonna go off.
And then I took it and ran.
and then invite us over to the house, and there was this truck with this huge red bow on it
Yeah.
that you gave to me as a gift.
I got
You and 40 other lawyers.
You know-
pitched in
you know
and bought
why?
This truck.
You know why?
I
We
just
did
can't
that?
believe it. No, to this day. I don't
Because
know.
you're an inspiring human being.
No, thank you.
You have a message, and Miracle of Innocence has a message
Yeah.
that needs to continue to spread. And the sole reason I picked up the phone and called 40 of my friends was because of your inspiration and the inspiration of helping other people, which resonated with me because of my upbringing as a preacher's kid.
Preacher, yeah.
That resonated with me, and I wanted to be a part of that. I said this at the gala 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Helping with a project like this is an infection.
Mhm.
When you are infected with it by you
Mhm.
spreading the gospel of Miracle of Innocence, you want to help with the mission.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason we did what we did. Why would 40 people that didn't know you from Adam,
Didn't know me, yeah, they didn't know. But
all
they
I
knew
had
you.
to do,
Yeah.
all I had to do was share 5 minutes of the mission and the story of what Miracle of Innocence is about, and they just handed over the money.
They did,
They just handed over the money.
yeah.
They want to be a part of it. They were infected with you.
Mhm.
They were infected with Miracle of Innocence.
Well, it was inspired by you because you told the story, when I didn't even get a chance to meet any of these people. To this day, I only met probably a handful. I don't know who most of these people are. And this is, the ironic thing about it is that many of them, or at least some of them, who helped buy their truck, they donate to Miracle of Innocence right now as we speak.
There you go.
One of them just gave $10,000 right at the gala this past September.
Yeah.
But several of them, they still donate to Miracle of Innocence. And this was before we had Miracle of Innocence.
That's right.
Yeah, the truck came
That's right.
years before Miracle of Innocence, like 7 years before Miracle of Innocence.
So folks are going to be seeing little snippets, I think, from the presentation of the truck that we gave to you, and just a little background. Darryl came to me and wanted my advice on how to buy a truck because he wanted to start a lawn care business. But he told me about his story and being locked up for 25 years for something he didn't do, and he had a dream and he had a story to tell. And instead of giving advice to Darryl on how to buy a truck cheap, I think I set a budget for you for $6,000. I took it upon myself in a week and a half to call 40 of my very good friends and some acquaintances. Not all of them were good friends. And just told a little bit of Darryl's story and how important it was for Darryl to get out and tell his story across the country. And we needed to get him transportation to do that. And these 40 people that didn't know you from Adam just handed over the money. And we got him a beautiful 2005 Chevy Silverado 2500 3/4 ton truck that had 27,000 miles on it. Now listen to this. This is ironic. And Darryl and I just figured this out tonight. This was in 2010 when we gave him this truck with 27,000 miles on it. Ironically, I think Darryl's life in a way might have been saved by that truck because it held up really well in an accident that he had not that long ago.
That's right.
Just a few years ago. And when he had his accident just a few years ago, and he was still driving that truck had 250,000 miles on it. So since 2010 until that accident, you've gone across the nation just exactly like we wanted you to, spreading the word, telling your story, on a truck that was probably about ready to give out after 250,000 miles, and it was time for a new one. But I think that is metaphorical, that's poetic, that's beautiful.
It is.
That you did exactly what we wanted you to do, and those 40 people on that plaque right behind you wanted you to do. You did exactly what we wanted you to do.
I think we need to take a picture of that plaque.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yes, and now with this new truck, this new SUV that I'm driving, well, guess how many miles I got on it?
You probably already got 250,000 miles.
It's right at it. It's over 150,000.
Wow.
And it's just 4 years old.
Time for another one.
Time for another one.
We need to clone you. We need to buy 2 trucks.
Man, because I'm going to use them.
We do have you clone Lamont.
Yeah. Well, Lamont
Has he got a truck?
No. Lamont flies a lot, Yeah, but I don't know if he has a truck or not, but he flies and he gets where he needs to be. But yes, I'm going to continue to go out because the message is about hope and forgiveness. When you spoke about forgiveness.
Yeah.
And that's what those folks, when I spoke yesterday, 9 o'clock in the morning, so all these lawyers, a room full of lawyers, they said, man, this story is so inspiring. It is an inspiring story.
It is.
And the thing that's inspired people more than anything is that we're not bitter about what we went through today. We're not bitter today. We've forgiven the people who did this to us. Not that we can't forget what happened, what they did, but we just moving on with our life. And not only that, we're trying to help others.
Yeah, but that's hard to do.
It's not easy.
I don't think that people are born with that ability to forgive.
I got the lesson from Jesus when he was crucified. In one verse in the Bible when he said, Luke 23:34, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That was the verse that touched me.
He was talking about his persecutors.
Forgive them, yes, right. At the point of death.
Hanging on the cross.
That was not human to me. That was divine.
Mm-hmm.
And I never could understand that then or even to this day. How could he do that? I still
to this day don't know how he could do that.
One verse. That was that verse. That was the verse in the Bible that turned something inside of me. And I said, if this guy can forgive at the point of death, then at least I can start trying to forgive. and I'm still in the now.
Renew in me a clean heart,
That's right.
said Jesus.
That's right. Yeah.
That's what that's about.
Yeah.
It's not just about forgiveness, but renewing a clean heart and starting over
Renew
again.
me a clean heart. Yes.
Darryl,
That's right.
tell me a little bit about when you first met Brian and what it was like to have someone believe in you and when you spent so much time with people just ignoring your mail and all that.
Right. Well, I met Brian a week after I was released, right here in McCalister law firm, and I genuinely liked Brian. I mean, because he was just real. He was a real person, and I mean, of course, I didn't know that our friendship would grow to what it is today. But he was just, and I had dealt with a lot of lawyers, for one. And I dealt with a lot of lawyers who had either betrayed me, lied to me, took money from my family, you know, and Brian was just different. He was just a different kind of guy. He was genuine, he's upfront, and he'd tell you what he's, you know, what he think and what he feel, and he's just gonna, as they say, keep it real. So, I mean, and he didn't really know me, but I think, and we close in the same age also. We just kind of connected. And then when I had a lawsuit for wrongful conviction that I wanted to file, I wanted Brian to be the one to file it, you know. And I wanted, you know, and my thing was, if there was anything to come out of it, if I would benefit and receive some benefits from my wrongful conviction, I would want him to also share into that. But and he's been there since then. I've been out 15 years. You see, I'm sitting here with Brian right now. We still, you know, in contact. If I ever need some advice, and he's helped me also. I've gotten some tickets. That was kind of, you know, up there. he's helped to pay for it.
Well, you're going around the world spreading the story. I mean, you got to get there fast.
I got to get there. And Brian said, "Darryl, send it to me, Darryl. I'll take care of it." So yeah, he's I mean, he's just been an all around genuine. I mean, and I'm close to the family also. I mean, I watched the kids grow up. You know, I mean,
you are family.
Miss Jillian, we just, so it's I mean, to have this kind of friendship and relationship. It was meant to be.
Well, Jillian just interned for Miracle of Innocence.
She did. Jillian, she just interned. You met Jillian.
Yeah,
she just interned.
I managed her a little bit on the social media side. She's awesome.
She's awesome. You know, all of them. And then we were just at Mitch's house. Mitch just bought a new house. Him and his girl Lindsay just bought a new house. I remember when I bought a new house myself. The first time I ever bought a new house.
It's a big deal.
It is. You know, so.
And you had to be a part of that big deal for Mitch and Lindsay too.
Yeah.
Because you're family.
Absolutely. And so, and here we are, man. I mean, 15 years later, you know, the next 5-10 years, with a book coming out now, with Miracle of Innocence, we got some more cases. We just hope we go forward and get some people out. You know, help continue to get people out who shouldn't be there. I tell you, right now we got about 4 or 5 new cases that we're working on. One is the case. Well, we're working on Dana Chandler. That's the case we're working on. We're working on Ralph McCalister. Those are 2 cases. They were the existing cases, but the others. It's a lady, her name is Darlene Edwards. We're working on her case. Frank Shepard working on that case, as well as Richard Brown working on that case. And we're looking at another case of a guy by the name of Larry DeClue. So we're looking at that case. We're looking at those cases also. And these are cases of innocence, and we want to help these people. They've been there collectively. They've been in prison. 2 of them are out. Ralph and Dana, they're out. They're out on bond or some other legal issues got them out. But these other cases, these people have been in prison collectively over 100 years. They've been in prison a long time and they're innocent. So we want to do something by way of the court or maybe some process just to get these people out to their families. And a couple of them are up in age, like in one of them, I think, in the 70s. Yeah, 70s, 2 of them, I think, close to 70. So.
And especially with somebody like that, it's time is of the essence. You've got to help these people now before they pass away.
Right. Yes,
and so, you know, I think that this video is going to be shared for some purposes of fundraising.
Yeah.
And we can't say strongly enough how important it is that we need your help now.
That's correct.
Because
time is of the essence.
When you try to free an innocent person, it literally takes decades sometimes.
Right.
In your case, it did take a decade.
The first letter I wrote to Centurions in 1990, I didn't get out to 2008, so that was 18 years.
Yeah, so it's important that people understand.
Of course, but they didn't take my case for 10 years before they took the case. I should say that also.
But it's important for people to understand that time is so important in receiving the help that these folks need in order to get out. They're innocent people.
Right.
And there aren't people fighting for them besides Miracle of Innocence, so we need the help now.
Absolutely. Well said. Can't say no better than that. Thank you, Brian. Love you, man.
I love you too.
Thank
Like you're my brother.
you. Yes. Love
You are my brother.
Yeah, that's right. We're brothers.
Yeah.
Can I get a hug?
Yeah.
That's my brother.
Always and forever, man.
That's right, man.
Yeah. Why is it so hard to get an innocent person out of prison?
They hate to be wrong. They hate to admit when they're wrong.
Yeah, you're touching on a few
Yeah.
reasons.
But I know some legal stuff you might, as a
12,
lawyer,
15, 20 reasons why it's
Yeah.
so hard to get an innocent person out of prison. But Darryl's right that I think the biggest reason is that the system is designed to put people in prison, not get them out. And until society gets that concept right, that we've got to make it a priority to get innocent people out, it is going to take decades and decades to get an innocent person out of a crime that he did not or she did not commit. Until we get rid of qualified immunity also. In the civil context, we're not talking about getting them out of prison necessarily. But in the civil context, until we get rid of qualified immunity, we're not going to have justice for these people, not full justice. The other reason that I think it's so hard to get innocent people out of prison is because it takes passion on the part of the people trying to get them out. And it's hard to get society behind helping someone who's locked up in what I call the crossbar motel. It's a hard thing to sell for people, to get someone out of a jail cell, because society makes assumptions about people who are in prison. The biggest one is, well, they must have done something wrong. They're in prison, aren't they? And it's hard to overcome that brainwashing this society has. They can't imagine that their society has participated in locking someone up who's innocent of a crime. So there's a big learning curve, very, 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 very steep learning curve to help people understand that that's not true.
That's correct. And again, that's well said. That's poetic, because society think the justice system gets it right 100% of the time. They don't realize that even if they got it right 98% of the time, we innocent people, we fall into that 1 and 2%. And the statistic says that of 2.3 million people who are in prison, if 1% of those folks are innocent, that's 23,000 people.
There you go.
And they say it's believed to be 5%. So you're talking over 100,000 people.
That's a big city.
That's a couple.
That's an entire city.
That's a couple of cities.
Yeah.
Yes, and I've spoken at a lot of rural communities, here in Kansas and Missouri and other states. Population of 1,000 people, 1,500 people. So that's a lot of little towns that would be in prison for something they didn't do. And I think this is what we have to educate the public and make the public more aware, which is part of Miracle of Innocence. That's one of the pillars of Miracle of Innocence, to educate the public and make them aware of this problem of wrongful conviction. And it was created, Miracle of Innocence, by two guys who've been there. We've lived it on both sides. What it's like to be in prison as an innocent man, and then what it's like to come home and need all the support and help that sometimes innocent people just don't get. So we've been on both sides of it. That's what makes us unique in this fact that also we help people when they get out after they've been exonerated and proven innocent. That's what makes our organization a little bit unique, and set apart.
A lot of bit unique.
From others.
There isn't another one like it, is there?
No.
That you know of?
That I'm aware of. My little brother was there, and like I told
Chris,
you, I was the only one at his bedside when he took his last breath. Two nurses, in fact, and let me take that back. A nurse came and said, "Darryl, I see, no one's here with you. It's okay, can me and this other nurse come and just, stand here with you?" I said, yes, please do. And it's an emotional moment. And I said,
That's
let us
beyond
say a prayer.
emotional, yeah.
Yeah, but I was just thinking, nobody else could be there for him.
He was one of your biggest fans.
He was, man. And I remember when I let that little kid come off the porch. I wouldn't let him come off the porch, man.
You were the protector?
Yeah, you know.
How many years younger was Chris?
About 5, 6 years.
You're
younger.
truly your little brother.
Yeah, he's my little brother. So, yeah, and I wouldn't, you know, and I remember him saying, "Man, D, man, my
D."
He called me D.
I remember that.
He called me D.
Called you D.
He called me D. It's in the video. You probably heard him say it in the video.
Yeah,
D.
yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
D. Yeah, and it was hard to, you know, to adjust to the fact that I was gone all those years, and I come home. He's a grown man now.
Yep.
I left. He was a teenager,
Yeah.
and there was times when, you know, he kind of talked back. I'm like, he didn't talk back to me when he was a teenager. You know,
Now he's an
he'd take
adult.
instruction. Yeah, now he's adult. Would you tell? He told me one day, "Man, I'm a grown man. I'm a grown man." I'm trying to tell him something about what to do certain things, but he said, "Man, I'm a grown man, man. You know, I'm 40 years old. You still a little boy to me. You still my little brother."
Well, don't feel like
You
the
still
Lone
my little
Ranger.
brother.
Don't
Yeah.
feel like the Lone Ranger. My sister would agree with everything you're saying. She's 3 years older than I am,
Yeah.
and she still treats me like a 15-year-old boy.
Like a 15-year-old boy. Yeah, what's her name again?
Lynn.
Lynn. Yeah, Lynn. And your mom is?
Yeah, Lynn and Mary Lee.
Lynn and
Mary
Mary
Lee.
Lee.
They were both at the
At the
housewarming.
house,
You
yeah, I
just
saw
saw.
her, yeah, but Lynn, she still treats you like you're 15 on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never will stop.
I don't know what it is, man. I guess, but then there's my mind, I got him frozen in time. I remember him as
Literally.
literally.
For you.
Yeah, right, you know, and I didn't grow up with him to watch him become a young man. I didn't. You was 18 when I left. In my mind, you still 18.
Yeah. Still
Yeah.
that snot-nosed 18-year-old.
That's right, you know.
Stay up there on that porch. Don't you come down here.
That's right. Yeah, so, man, yeah, that's, you know, then I can see the video of my little brother, man.
Oh, you'll watch that video over
I
and
sure
over.
will. I'm gonna take it to the family. We're gonna watch that for Thanksgiving. We're going out to St. Louis. But my mom, she's gonna be, in fact, her birthday's coming up in a week.
Oh, she would love that.
And this probably was, I know I wanted to do something, and I mentioned to Valerie, but she came up with the idea to get something really nice, and this is really nice, a marble. Never seen anything like this, a marble plaque, you know, in person. But all of these lawyers, this name of all of these lawyers, that Brian, friends of Brian, acquaintances or whatever, that he went, at least reached out to him and called him about getting this truck, a truck that they gave me, a Silverado, 2005, a Silverado, 3/4 ton with 27,000 miles on it, for me to go around, and he said it. They said, go around and continue to tell that story, that message of hope and forgiveness. And many of these lawyers I never met. To this day, never met them. Many of them support Miracle of Innocence. And I know I have a book coming out, and each one of these lawyers, they're still here in the earth, they will get a copy, an autographed copy of the book, Innocent, a Second Look, that's about to be published. So, but I thank these guys, as it says. I just want to read what it says. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to, and it lists the names of all of these lawyers. Your generous purchase of the Silverado for me is the greatest gift I've received next to my exoneration. I love and appreciate you all. Darryl Burton, exoneree, August 27, 2010, Brian McCalister Law Firm. Yeah, so I appreciate these guys, men and women. So I'm grateful. Thank you, Brian. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
man.
My honor and my privilege. I think I told you that for me, I got a lot more out of giving that gift than you can imagine. I got a lot more out of it than I gave. A little bit selfish when you stop and think about it, that I got something out of it, that I really,
It's
truly
better to
did.
give than to receive.
I truly did.
That's biblical, yes.
You know, it's funny, some of those people who gave are now judges. There's a
Yeah.
state court judge on that list. There's a federal court judge on that list.
That's right.
There's a mayor of Kansas City on that list.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so lawyers aren't so bad after all.
They are my best friends today. Lawyers are my best friends. Prominent people. Thank you, man.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Love you.
Love you, man. Couldn't do this without you.
Oh, yeah.
And I did take your words to heart. You said go around and tell that story, and I've been doing it ever since.
Right on.
If you notice, I am. Literally. And the fact that not only just locally, but I've been to other countries. I was just in Israel Shared it
Oh
over
my
Israel.
God, Israel, man, they
I
are.
know they really got it bad. But I was over there and I was in Israel. I've been to Europe. I've been to Haiti. I've been to Bahamas. I've been a lot of different places. Canada, sharing that story. Yeah, I didn't drive the truck. I'll remind you, but but I did. I went and
That's
shared
awesome.
this story, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah.